Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are back. This is the preview for Manchester United against Leeds United at Old Trafford in the Premier League. And we haven't played Leeds in the league at Old Trafford for over 15 years. I think they came to Old Trafford in the FA Cup in 2010 and beat us with Jermaine Beckford scoring a goal. But they were in the Championship at that time, I believe, or League One. Can't remember. But they weren't in the same division as us, and it was a shock win when they came to Old Trafford at that time. Now they come to Old Trafford with one of the coaches that have been nominated for best coach in the world, and they are a Premier League side, and we take them on at Old Trafford yet again in what I'm sure is going to be a fierce game. Even when you just look at the way both sides are tactically set up, it promises to be an entertaining, open game full of goals, possibly in both nets. So this is a huge game. I'm sure Ole Gunnar Solskjær will be relaying to the players how much this means to the fans. And you've also got the likes of McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and all those guys that have come through the ranks at Old Trafford and know what this fixture means. And our captain is from Sheffield, so I'm sure he doesn't like Leeds either. And what is a historic rivalry, Manchester United and Leeds will be meeting again. And we need to get one over them. Not just for revenge for that FA Cup game, not just for old times' sake, but also for where we are in the league. Today, we have seen Southampton lose against Manchester City, which means Manchester City have gone ahead of us now, although they have played a game more than us, and if we win our game in hand over them, then we go clear of them. And of course, Liverpool have won as well. And although, Manchester United winning the title isn't the most likely thing this season, if we want to be involved in what could be a shock title race up until the end of the season, Manchester United have to win games like these, and our home form has to improve. It simply has to improve. We've won one game at home this season, drawn 2, lost 3, losing against Palace, Tottenham and Arsenal. And when you look at that defeat against Arsenal and their results since then, it's a bad defeat, that. And we need to start making up for it, and we need to start getting results at Old Trafford. Now, obviously, our away form has helped us in that it's the best away form in the league. We're on a historic run away from home, but we have to change things up at Old Trafford. That is for sure. And this game is a massive one. So we'll be going through everything ahead of this match. We'll be going through the team news. We'll be going through my predicted 11, the opposition team news, the opposition scouting report, if you wish, some of your comments, predictions, predicted 11s, and all that good stuff. So make sure you're getting your comments in the comments below as we discuss all of this. Right now I can see in the live comments Simon, Joe, who's hashtag 21 is coming, along with Ming, Lokesh, Hasib, Adam A, Ross Murphy, Josh, Sean's in the house as well, saying he can't watch live because he's watching the All-Ireland football final right now. I'm sure you can catch up later, and if you can't catch up later, or you're all catching up later right now, and you're not one of those that have watched live, because there's thousands of people that will catch up, thank you very much for tuning in to AdamMcKola TV. The subscribers have slowed up a little bit. We look like we were steaming ahead to hit 100k by the end of the year. Now that has slowed up, but that's not a problem. But get hitting that subscribe button to help us edge closer to 100k and getting that plaque on the wall up in here. So let's get stuck into some of the news ahead of this game, and let's start off with the press conference. So let's bring up Ole Gunnar Solskjær's quotes ahead of this game in this one. So where is it? Jesus, there's so much has happened since. Right, we've got Ollie's press conference in full. Here we go. So some of his quotes: how much are you looking forward to this game? He said, I can't wait, it's been too long. Of course, I know how much it means to our supporters. I know how much it means for our club. But the other bit is it's a different type of Leeds coming up with a coach who's done a really great job with them and will test us to the limit. In regards to Edinson Cavani and his take on Edinson Cavani since he's come, on the Edinson Cavani charge, he said that of course we've spoken to Edinson about it. He's apologised. He knows, and we know it wasn't meant in a malicious way. He's explained, and there's cultural differences there and linguistic differences, so he's apologised. He hopes that mistake is not going to be costly. He's still working on his fitness. He's very meticulous on his rehab work and has not felt right. He couldn't play in this game, but let's see in the last training session how he feels. So Edinson Cavani could possibly be back, and he explains it was a muscle injury that he felt in his groin. He is edging closer to a return, whether he starts or not remains to be seen. And it's a real interesting topic of conversation now, going into every single game. Obviously, predominantly Ole Gunnar Solskjær opts for a 4-2-3-1, but we have seen him use a 4-4-2 diamond, and we have also seen him use a back three at times with wing backs. So obviously, with the way Leeds set up and the way we know they can change things as well, and Marcelo Bielsa will be looking to counteract any common trends he's seen in Ole Gunnar Solskjær's side. You'd expect Ole Gunnar Solskjær might try to counteract that by pulling off a surprise somewhere. It'll be an interesting tactical battle. People like to say Ole doesn't have tactics. Now he gets his tactics wrong sometimes, but he clearly does have tactics, and he has the ability to change things up as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on up against someone that is clearly very good tactically. Obviously, I understand some of the ridicule that he gets. For like, how can he be nominated for best coach in the world when there were other coaches that done more than him last year? I get all that, but that was an accumulative thing, wasn't it? He's done good things elsewhere. Getting Leeds up was good as well, but is it being best coach in the world type of good? I'm not too sure about that. Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof have started the last 9 Premier League games. Is that becoming quite taxing on them? And is Axel Tuanzebe injured after missing the last 2 squads, was the question to Oli. He said Victor and Harry have been consistent. I thought last season as well they were excellent. Eric and Axel had small injuries but are available for us and for Leeds. So let's see what we do. Obviously, Harry played the most minutes in European football last season. I think he's enjoying playing. Victor is maturing, growing and getting more and more used to the demands of the Premier League. They've been very consistent and I'm very happy with them. It might come to the point where they've got to rest, of course. I imagine that would be in the Europa League or the League Cup that's coming up soon. I can't see Harry Maguire being rested, that's for sure. And Victor Lindelof has come into some good form. I know they both have the ability to be a little bit shaky at times. And some may argue that it was a mistake from Victor Lindelof to head the ball against McGoldrick, although he's arguably a little bit unlucky with that one as well. But his ball for the goal from Marcus Rashford was fantastic. He has been playing very well with the ball at his feet and bringing the ball out recently, or at least better than he was last season. And Harry Maguire has clearly improved as well. I know some of us weren't happy with his antics after the final whistle against Manchester City, but his performance against them was very good, and he did pretty well throughout that game, and we have seen a marked improvement in his performance too. So I expect Ole Gunnar Solskjær will stick with Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire for this game. I can't see him changing that. And Eric Bailly and Axel Tuanzebe are not only going to have to prove their fitness, but also play very, very well to displace them, I think. Because whilst we haven't got, a centre-back partnership that cries out, it's not a Rio and a Vidic or anything like that, and I'm not arguing that it is, Ole Gunnar Solskjær clearly sees something in them. Yes, he might want to improve on it, and yes, Axel Tuanzebe, I believe, is fantastically talented. I think Eric Bailly is, magnificent as well, but far too often is injured. I do think those guys are arguably better when fit, but they're hardly ever fit. So we need to get them fit, and Ole clearly likes the reliability of Maguire and Lindelof. On Saturday, it marks 2 years for you in the job. It's 2 years for Ole in the job today. How do you sum it, and do you think you're on course to get the club where you want it? I do not like, or I'd hate talking about what I think I've done or where we're at, he said. So I don't really enjoy that bit of looking back. I'm looking forward. I know there's a lot of good work to be done still to get to the standard I want, the level I want. That's what we're working on every single day. But I've really enjoyed those 2 years. Even tough games like this, which make my hair turn even greyer very, very quickly. And obviously, 2 years of Ole. Look, I think from the squad that he took over, I think the squad is clearly in a better position. I think that's clear. I think, when you look at the away form, you look at the run that got us third spot, you have to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjær with that. But there's also been signs of inconsistencies. Getting to 3 semi-finals, not quite getting over the line. Again, you could blame that on the squad depth. And I do think Ole has improved the squad with the little help he's had from the board. And we are a better squad and a better team. We're in the Champions League this year. Obviously, we got knocked out. That's a disappointment. And again, that's a negative to what Ollie's done. But I do think he's improved the team. Now it's about whether he can push us on further. Can he push us on to be a team that is challenging, potentially winning the league, and some big trophies? Because that's where Manchester United need to be at. I think he's built the foundations for that. But can he now prove? I think he'll get to the end of the season, unless it goes incredibly wrong. Can he now prove that he's the man to take us further forward? Because I think if he doesn't, between now and the end of the season, it may be time up for him, and United will say thank you, we're looking for a new manager now. But I think he's definitely improved the team. He's definitely improved our spirits. Like, I think we can beat anyone, but we can also be beat by everyone. And that's the problem at the moment. We need to be a little bit more sound and get a little bit more consistent. But we have got a very young squad as well, and that will always impact that. But I think Ali has shown naiveties at times, and if he can just iron some of them out, then I think he could be a success. But there's still a long way to go, and there's still a lot of things to prove as Manchester United manager. I hope he proves me wrong in some of the doubts that I've had, because I'd love nothing more than to see Ole Gunnar Solskjær lifting trophies as Manchester United manager. And as I say, 21's coming. So what better time? On Leeds, you played against them a few times. Can you recall what the hostilities were like? He says they were fiery games. The tackles were flying in. Players from both teams. We were winners, and we had a few fights, of course. Ellen Road wasn't the quietest his place when you came off the coach. Put it that way. No fans at the ground, unfortunately, as well this weekend. Ollie obviously spoke about scoring 2 goals there. In regards to the home form, he said, I don't think it's a mental issue. There can't be no fans here and no fans there, so they should be used to the pitch as well, in the circumstances surrounding it and the environment. So sometimes it's just down to the fine margins, who gets the first goal and how the opposition's set up. 2 against Sheffield United, you've got 2 teams who want to play on the front foot, press and go forward, which creates space for us, space for them, to be fair. I think on Sunday we'll also play a team who make it a hard game for you, and also maybe an open game, because the games I've seen from Leeds have been very entertaining. So it could promise to be a very open game, and that was something I mentioned earlier on in this video, because I do feel like it could be an open game, this one. Now obviously we saw in the last fixture David De Gea was put on the bench and Dean Henderson came in to the fixture, which was, some might say, a mistake because of the error that he made. I think it showed why we don't need to rush him. A lot of people have been trying to force and say, get Dean Henderson in right now. We don't need David De Gea, and I think that's wrong. We do need David De Gea, and that will aid the development of Dean Henderson. We need to give him time. He's going to make mistakes. Now, he's played in Bramall Lane. He's made mistakes for Sheffield United. He was 99% of the time pretty fucking good for them. But he's made mistakes for Sheffield United. And he's not been under the microscope. Playing for Manchester United is different. You're also, mainly, for Sheffield United, you kept very busy. For Man United, you're not always busy. As we saw in that game against Sheffield United, first 5-10 minutes, we invited that pressure through the mistake. But apart from that, it was the last 5-10 where we were busy. And that's where he did make a great save, to be fair to him. I was pleased with his reaction. But I also think that shows why we can't rush his development. We can't rush him being Manchester United #1. Of course, he needs to do better than that, and he needs to cut those mistakes out of his game. But let's relax with Dean Henderson. There's no rush just yet. There's no rush at all. And I think he will come good, but we also need to take our time with him. Kaz Rock says, do you think United will get top 4? I hope we get top 4. We definitely have a good enough squad to get top 4. And we definitely, should be aiming for being... I don't want to see us scraping top 4. I want to see us trying to get as close to Liverpool as possible. And who knows what happens. Because this season, it's going to be a strange season. I know Liverpool look formidable at the moment. Beating Spurs 7-0 today against Palace. And they look pretty good at the minute. but they will drop points as well. I think the fixture congestion and all those kind of things, the injuries in their squad, they will take its toll, and they will drop more points than they did last season. I still think Liverpool are the massive favourites for the league title. I still think City have a shout, and then it's up to Spurs, Chelsea, Man United. Can you make yourself part of that conversation? And Man United this season have to aim to be making themselves part of that conversation with the amount of points that are going to be dropped. So I do think we should be top four, and hopefully comfortably. And if we're not, that's a problem. And if we're not comfortably top four, or we're not top four, I think Ollie loses his job. And I think you probably got to expect that as a club like Manchester United, when maybe we haven't got the transfers we've wanted, or spent the kind of money we maybe expect. But we have spent money. We have one of the highest wage bills. We should be getting Champions League football. And with the squad we have, we should be getting Champions League football. So I think that has to be the expectation, and hopefully we can push on for who knows what else. Do I think Donny's going to start, says Abiyan. Well, let me bring up my 11 for you now, my predicted 11. Here it is. I don't think Donny van der Beek's going to start, but I do think Ollie might go with the diamond in this one. I really do, and I'll explain that to you. So, in the Stretford Paddock preview, oops, fucking hell, let me put this back up. In the Stretford Paddock preview, which has gone up today, but was recorded yesterday, in the Stretford Paddock preview, I said I thought McTominay, Pogba, Bruno were going to start in what was a 4-2-3-1. But then I started thinking, well, actually, Fred's starting. His robustness, his tenacity, his enthusiasm, his energy, he's going to be in that midfield. McTominay is going to start because I expect Ollie will play players that he thinks or he knows gets the enormity of this game, gets how big it is to the fans, and is that presence on the pitch. Obviously McTominay is a good midfielder as well, but you get what I mean. So McTominay is going to start, and Fred's going to start, Pogba's going to start, and Bruno's going to start. So I feel from that assumption that those four players will start, I think Ollie will then go with the diamond. I really do. I think that's how we're going to set up for this game. I think the rest of the team possibly picks itself. When you look at De Gea's going to come back into goal, you know that. Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof. I would pick Telles, but I think Ollie will go with Luke Shaw, McTominay, Pogba, Fred, Bruno, and then Marshall, Rashford. I think they start as well. So I think that will be the starting 11 for this game. Now we got a Leeds fan in the comments who says you don't want to go narrow against Leeds, and I can see why many would say that, because they can stretch the game out. But I've just got a feeling this is how Ollie's going to play. He's going to look to get McTominay sitting in front of that defence. Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka will push a little bit forward. So Lindelof, Maguire will stretch, McTominay go in, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw will push a little bit forward. Or what you'll have is Luke Shaw, as we know, can potentially play as a third centre-back. So Luke Shaw pushes in when Wan-Bissaka goes forward. You got kind of three centre-backs, and Paul Pogba will roam that left-hand side, which we've seen him do as well. So I think that could be the way the team goes. But of course, 4-2-3-1 is the way we usually go. If we played that, then I'd probably expect McTominay, Pogba, or McTominay, Fred, and Bruno, and no Pogba. But I do think that will be the team. Unyemi says, do you agree with our current choice of captain? Well, at the time, I'd say no. I felt it was too soon, too early. I felt, let him prove himself a little bit. And we're probably, right in saying that when you see what's happened. But I can see why Ollie's picked him. I can see why he's a choice for captain. I can see why he'd be highly regarded in the dressing room as a good pro, etc. But I thought it was a little bit too early. But then the alternatives to that, right? Rashford, Bruno. You can make the same arguments for Bruno, although Bruno did prove it. If you were to give it him as soon as he comes in the door, you could say, has he proven it? Obviously now you're sitting back after a year of Bruno being here and you're like, he's perfect captain material, but at the time you couldn't have said that. So I would probably be interested in seeing Bruno as the captain, but I don't think he needs an armband to be captain either, if you get what I'm saying. Now, we'll have a little bit of a look at Leeds. Now, Leeds sitting 13th at the moment on 17 points, which for a team that's just been promoted, although they come with the manager that's got a big name and experience, they are still a championship team, and he is still working with predominantly championship players, although they've got sprinklings of fantastic players in there. I think Rafinha, Calvin Phillips, quality. I think Bamford, at times he misses a lot of opportunities that you'd expect him to score. But some of the goals that he scores, I can't remember who he scored against this season, but it was in the game where he had one disallowed for his hand, but he chested and volleyed it. And that instinct of a striker is very good. But sometimes when he has time to think about it, he can mess up. So they do clearly have talented players, and this one's going to be a big game for it. They're going to be up for it, so we have to be aware of it. I am worried about this game. I really am. Now, Leeds United, here's some facts and stats from like flash scores. Leeds United's last fixture saw them score 5+ goals in a Premier League match for the first time since April 2003. They won 5-2 over Newcastle. Stevie Bruce's Newcastle. It was the 5th time across those 7 that both teams scored, and 4 of them took. All right. On the road, Leeds are yet to draw in the league this season. They've won 3, lost 3. Decent record away from home for a team that have just been promoted. All 3 wins have been well orchestrated victories to 0. So when they win away from home, they usually shut teams out. Well, all 3 defeats have featured both teams scoring. A wild average of 5.33 total goals per match, with Leeds conceding 7 first half goals. Some decent stats there, isn't it? It's going to be a game full of goals. Where we can get exposed at the back, we know that. One of the things that happens, Wan-Bissaka falls asleep, someone comes in behind him. Luke Shaw falls asleep, someone comes in behind him. Or Maguire and Lindelof just chuck the ball in our own net. But that will be a possibility. Like, Bamford aerially is very good. With the ball in and around him, it can cause us problems. You then bring in the others that will be approaching and the energy that they will be coming with. It's going to be a difficult game, but I think it's a game where, because they will play for the game and play for the win, that could play into our hands as well. And it could see us score a fair... I wouldn't be surprised to see us batter them 5-0, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them come to United and win 3-2. It could be either way, because they do have the ability to pull off a shot. But when you look at the league at the moment, Liverpool won today, 14 games played, 31 points. Tottenham, I think they play tomorrow, is it? Tottenham play? Tottenham play Leicester tomorrow. They're 13 games played, 25 points. Leicester 13 games played, 24 points. Them two play each other tomorrow. Southampton 14 games played, 24. City 13 games played, 23. Everton 13 games played, 23. They're about to kick off against Arsenal. And Man United 12 games played, 23. So we got a game in hand, or 2 games in hand, and some of those teams ahead of us. If Tottenham Leicester draw today, which would be great for us, we'd actually go ahead of both of those teams, or level on points with Tottenham with a game in hand, which would be good, or 2 games in hand on both of them. So, winning this game puts us in the top 4, going into Christmas with a game in hand that could take you 2 points behind the leaders. And as formidable as they look, with the way the fixtures are going to come thick and fast, with the way we can go on runs, that's the thing. We can beat anybody. Anyone can beat us. That's the problem. And that's what worries me about this match. But I'm trying to stay positive. And I am feeling positive at the moment. But I know tomorrow, when I wake up, get ready, head down to the kickoff, I'm going to be shitting myself, because this is what Man United and Leeds is. My memories of Man United and Leeds, obviously we've beaten them a fair few times as well. But I remember, like, one that sticks in my memory is away at Elland Road. I think it was in 2000. David Beckham was left in the stands. And I remember that, like, there always being the pictures after the game of him in the stands with a cap on and all that. And Andy Cole scored in a 1-0 win. I remember, like, strange things like that. I also remember a 4-0 win in the cup. Jemba scoring. Obviously, you got that Jermaine Beckford one, which is the most recent one. It's been some classic games, but hopefully it'll be another classic with United coming out on top. What's my prediction? I am going to go for a 3-2 win to United, Manchester United. And trust me, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go the other way. But I think it's going to be one of the games of the season, you know, possibly. Because I think both managers will let their players know the magnitude of this game. They'll set them up properly. And I can see some tackles flying in, some goals being scored, and it being a mental one. So get your predictions on both teams to score. And over 5 goals and all that stuff, because I think it's going to go off. Yeah, I hope there are fans at the Elland Road game. That would be good. Fergie's son says Bielsa may slap Oli. We need to be clinical. Lakesh says that 4-4-2 Diamond is playing more like a 4-2-3-1 with Pogba on the left. Yeah, as we were discussing a little bit earlier on in the show. But I definitely agree with you. We can see that happen at times. Adan says, let's see a Fergie time Bruno penalties being long enough. And Mia Afsal Abbas Bukhari says, #21 is coming. Guys, on that note, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. I'll have reaction to the game tomorrow on this channel, of course, on Stretford Paddock, and I'll be on the kickoff as well. But for now, I have been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. See you later.